People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, obviously, it's a quick one. Next season, well, let me say this. Under 18s and 23s football, it's been in a kick in the teeth. Obviously, you know, if you're, depending on what league you play, apart from the Premier League, couple of others, leagues have been suspended, under 23s and under 18s as well. Collectively, at under 18s level, to put it nicely, it was a shambles. Been one of the most feeble attempts at defending a league title which I've ever seen. As that hurts as me as an Arsenal fan. We're like 9th or something like that. Under 23s it's been decent. FA Youth Cup at under 18s level was poor. That's from a collective. From a personal point of view, I think there's been some good case studies. I think Zach Swanson at under 23s level's been good. Ben Cottrell, Sam Greenwood have been good. You know, you've got a bunch of the first year scholars next season. Charlie Patino, a bunch of them. You know, Amari, Charlie. You know, Mon Louise, Flores. A lot of them have been exposed to first team. I say first team, but full-time under 18s football. And under 23s, you've got Matt Smith as well. There's been some good performers collectively. Balogun as well, if I haven't said his name. And there's one player, so like I said, there's been a bunch of players, and you see in all my reviews, you see me speak about them. If I haven't said them individually, is what it is. Trey Coyle, I think, he's done very well to not get injured as well. He's had some problems with injuries, but he's got through them, and he had a good season at under 23s level as well, which is obviously positive for Arsenal fans. One player I think is a good player as well, and I always batter his name, but is it Catalin Cirjan? I always get his first name and his last name mixed up. He's a Romanian lad. We signed him a couple of years ago. He's now 16. You know, he went on trial. He signed at Arsenal. This season's been his first season as a first-year scholar, and it's been one of adaptation. And obviously, it hasn't been perfect for him, but I think there's potential in him. Now, for me as an Arsenal fan, genuine excitement, people, in relation, and Aziz was starting to play on the 23s football as well. But there's genuine excitement. Now, obviously, not every man can make it here, but I genuinely believe we have a pipeline of players that are going to go on and have decent careers. Specific to midfield, me as an Arsenal fan, it gasses me. You've got him, Catalin Cirjan, the man we're going to speak about right now. You've got Ben Cottrell. You've obviously got my man. You've got Patino, who's, for me, bad boy. Aziz, you know, Flores, Muro, next season. You've got a bunch of Matt Smith in the under 23s. Bunch of guys with potential. Whether they make it is another thing. But as an Arsenal fan, if not minimum, I'd say 2. Like, there's 2 in. I genuinely believe there's a problem if Aziz, Patino and Ben Cottrell don't get first team opportunities, but that's just me. Me as a fan, it's gassing. And I really think this season or next season, I'm not saying he's going to, you know, Ballon d'Or, but I think next season we're going to see the best of him, because he's going to be a second-year scholar. I'd imagine, maybe not so much at the start, hopefully it happens, but he won't step up into under 23s football so fast, so it'll predominantly be a second-year scholar. And we've got a very young under 16s are going to be first-year scholars next season. We've got a bunch of them, they're very young. So I'd imagine we'll make a couple more signings in and around there. And I'm looking at Cirjan to be a leader. I'm looking at him to make the difference, because I'm really impressed with what he's been doing, and I think he's got the components to have a say in relation to potentially breaking through into the first team one day and having a decent career. What I like about him, I mean, you know what we're looking for in Arsenal. He's very good technically. He can play the tight game. He can do the short and long range passing. He doesn't shy away from the ball. His movement is good. On the topic of movement, the one thing that I enjoy as well, you rarely see at our club midfielders who run beyond, does that Aaron Ramsey thing. I'm not saying he's like Aaron Ramsey, but he does that Ramsey thing where he makes a run beyond the defence and tries to get involved in things. I really like that. Technical quality, he's a free kick specialist. He's chipped in with a couple of goals, some good finishes. I think he's a decent player. You know, I'm not here to say he's this, that and the other. I can't speak for other people. I don't do that. I just think he's got the raw components to have a say in relation to potentially trying to get into the first team. I'm expecting a big season from him, because I think he's got the potential in him, people. And I want him to do well, people. He's got 3 assists this season. Let me look at his actual things, because I remember a game against Villa, I think he got 2 assists. I don't think it was Norwich he scored the free kick. He scored a free kick against someone. He scored some good goals. So what, in 15 games he's got 3 goals, 3 assists. So had a hand in 6 goals in 15. Not bad for attacking mid-centre midfielder. Obviously it could be much better, people, but you know, he's been in a season of adapting. He's come to a new country. Obviously he's a first-year scholar, training and playing full-time for the first time as well. Forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he is. So it is what it is. It could have, I mean, yeah. Oh, looking at his thing, I remember. Yeah, see the Brighton game. It might have been the Brighton game he scored the free kick. I could be wrong, but he bagged 2 against Brighton. That was a very good game for him. So yeah, Norwich, in the draw against Norwich, I think he played quite well. Obviously, it was disappointing for all of us in the FA Youth Cup. So yeah, he's a player I expect to see a lot more from next season. I expect people to hear a lot more from people. Like I said, I'm not here to gas players and say this and say that and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I just think he's got potential. I just think he's definitely got more potential to show Arsenal fans what he's about. And he's a player I'm going to be rooting for. So there's a couple more players, you know. Listen, under 18s is always going to excite me the most in it because we've got Kion Edwards, you know, Amari Hutchinson, Marco Flores, Muro, Bendera, forgive me for mispronunciation, centre mid. You've got Mon Louise, you've got Tyler Ferran, you've got Zach, centre mid says centre back. You've got a couple fullbacks there as well. You've got Brooke, right back. So it's a young squad, so it's probably going to be a young and naive squad and we're going to learn a lot of lessons. But I do think there's some promise in them, and I do think I very rarely get excited about these players, and I think this is a very age group, man. Especially Charlie Patino. I think, you know, yeah, man. Anyways, back to my man in the conversation. I think next season we're gonna see the best of him. I hope so. And you know, if he does these bits at under 18s, you know, you can't. Steve Bold and that lot will be listening. You might get under 23s look because Aziz is gonna step up as well. Aziz will technically be a second-year scholar, so Aziz will still be eligible, but you'd imagine Aziz steps up to 23s football on a full-time basis. Ben Cottrell will leave this season as he'll no longer be eligible at this level as well. Same goes for Sam Greenwood. So there'll be more competition for the under-23s, which will be interesting to see. Interested to see what happens with Balogun as well. Does Balogun go out on loan? Does he stay again in the under-23s? You know, what happens there? Same goes for a lot of these players. But on that note, people, DG, I'm out. It's always a pleasure.